Hello and welcome to today's podcast. I'm your host, Jen Bjornson. So today I want to talk about mindset. What is it? And we know that we need to change it because it's a really big buzzword right now. So how do we do that? All right. So to start off with, first of all, what is mindset? Like, how would you describe mindset? Well, mindset is basically how you dialogue with yourself. And the internal thoughts in your head of, yeah, I can do this, or like, why do you think you could do this? You've never done this before. That's mindset. So if you tend to go more positive, you'd have a positive mindset. If you tend to go more negative, you'd probably have a fixed or negative mindset. I really started to learn about this by the book Mindset by Carol Dweck. That's really where I first heard it. And it was this really aha moment of changing your mindset, or the mindset and the way that we think and the way that we talk to ourselves and dialogue with ourselves, that was affecting so many different things. I had never really understood it. One of the things that she says in the book, and this really was a big aha moment for me, was the fact that she said a fixed mindset or a negative mindset is where you just kind of think that you are either naturally born with an ability. And if you're not naturally born with that, then that's it. You can't do anything about it. That's just not who you are. It's never going to be who you are. And when she phrased it that way, I thought, yeah, that's exactly how I've been living life. Even though we live in a very skilled set kind of world. We live in a world where it's really based on skill set and mindset. That's really it. Like, you just build certain skills, have a good mindset, and you can really accomplish a lot. And I'm not going to say you can accomplish everything, because I think there's definitely some things, challenges that we have to overcome. At the same time, you can accomplish a lot. You can go from really bad to okay, from okay to good, from good to great, by just simply having a good mindset or creating a good skill set. That's it. And if you look at the majority of successful people, they have a very specific mindset of, I can do this. You're not gonna divert me from this. I'm going to achieve this. And they have a set of skills that they're monetizing. And so the interesting thing is, once you kind of grasp this idea, right? Like, this for me was, blew my mind. I just was like, wait a minute. Are you telling me that the most successful people were not just born that way? And I kind of knew that. I kind of understood that. At the same time, that's really how I had been living my life. I'd really been looking at people like, well, they've got something I clearly don't. And so after I read this book and I understood, no, most things are skill set, most. But one thing that I thought was fascinating was that anybody can be a really good singer. It is literally a skill set. And that, to me, really blew me away, because I'd listened to these professional singers and I thought, oh, they've obviously have a natural talent that I was not born with. And what was interesting is, yes, some people are born where they start off ahead of the curve and having a natural gift. That is fact. I have seen some people who just have a natural talent for something. Take singing, for example. Some people, they just have automatic pitch. They hear it, they understand it, they get it, and of course that's going to help them. Of course that's going to be a benefit. One person I highly recommend is Tim Grover. If you don't know who he is, he was a personal trainer for Michael Jordan. He has also been a personal trainer to the highest of elite athletes. And one thing, he was being interviewed, is somebody asked him the question that said, have you seen somebody with more natural ability than like Michael Jordan or LeBron James and still not make it? And he said, absolutely. I've seen people with insane natural talent, and because they could not get past the mindset, because they could not get past the dialogue in their head, they did not make it to professional level. And so somebody could have a natural ability for something, but that doesn't make them an automatic professional. It's the mindset and the work ethic that keeps that person to achieving, to go past what most people will do and achieve really great things. So that's why mindset is so important, because even if you have this amazing natural ability, at some point that natural ability wears out, and now mindset and work ethic have to take over. And that's what sends you over the edge to this insane success or this top tier level of people, right? So if mindset is so important, what are the different areas, right? How does this work in the different areas of life? So typically most people, if you look at most people, they want like three things. One, they want a great health, they want good relationships, and they want a lot of money or access to resources. That's what they want. Okay. So how does this work with mindset? Well, if you look at all three of those areas, it's typically mindset that you're fighting. It's typically the mindset that you're dealing with as to why you don't have those things that you're searching out for. So how does that look with relationships? Well, how many times have you been in a relationship and you keep picking the same person that's not good for you? Well, why is that? What keeps you in those relationships? When you see the red flags going up, what in your mind, what mindset are you telling yourself? What dialogue are you telling yourself that says, oh no, this time it's different. Oh, that's the way they show me love. I just don't deserve it. It's those things in your head that, one, keep us from actually having the relationships or the connection with people because we don't feel like we deserve it or the best that we can get. And it's not true. It's just simply not true. The reality is you can have any type of relationship that you want. You can create any type of dynamic that you want. It just takes, one, knowing what you want, and two, communicating that to a person who's willing to give it to you or willing to be a participant in it. The interesting thing is a lot of times people who want love and connection, they'll try to get it from an outside source when the reality is inward mindset or inward dialogue with themselves is what's telling them, well, this person doesn't really care about you. Well, this person, you're just not worthy of that. And it's just not true. Now, if you look at it in health-wise, I know and have worked with quite a bit of people that it's their mindset that has actually made them sick. I being one of them. One of the things that's really interesting is about weight loss is a lot of people, if you go back to their childhood, they have this thought, I just want to be bigger. If I was bigger, I could protect myself. If I was bigger, I'd be safe. If I was bigger, I could stand up to that person and I wouldn't have to be hit or I wouldn't be bullied anymore. I just want to be bigger. So they tell themselves, I want to be bigger. I want to be bigger. And the interesting thing is then they go to try to lose weight. I want to lose weight. Well, think of a time ever when losing something is positive. It's never positive. You lose your keys, you lose where you parked your car, you can lose a loved one, but losing things is never good. So little tip and trick, if you're trying to lose weight, you're releasing it. You're letting it go. It's not helping you anymore. So you're letting it go. These are little things as to way mindset and the way that we dialogue with ourselves and the way that we think is triggering things in our physical body. One of the things that's so typical that I did all the time is I'd punish myself because I thought, well, I'm not good enough for this. I'm not good enough for that. But if I punish myself, then maybe I'll motivate myself enough to actually want to change. No, just made me depressed, just made me anxious. And I just ripped on myself the entire time, telling myself how awful I was. That doesn't help at all. But we have these crazy ideas of mindset thinking, well, if I would just be better, if I wouldn't suck, if I wasn't such a loser, if I wasn't so this, then I'll be better. We think for some reason we would encourage a little kid to do something, but for ourselves, oh no, we're going to absolutely shame and guilt ourselves into becoming better. And it just doesn't work. So That's how it works with relationships. That's how it works in health. With our money, a lot of times we have these beliefs like money is hard to get. Money doesn't grow on trees. One thing, not so much money related, but I'm on my own. I have to do things all by myself. I have no help. And so it's hard to rely on people when you feel like you have no help and you can't connect with people. So these different things of the way that we dialogue with ourselves gives so many responses, whether it's physical, whether it's relationships, whether it's money or resources. This is how it's affecting our lives. And we know it's affecting our lives. If you go and you start thinking about this, start thinking about the way that you talk to yourself, just notice. I'm not asking you to change it. I'm not asking you to like go in deep dive and do a full session on yourself of let's just switch your world around, but just start noticing. Start noticing the way that you talk to yourself. When you go to do something, right? Let's say you go to a party and you come back, and on the way out of that party, just notice how you're feeling. Do you go through your mind about all the stupid things that you said and you shouldn't have talked so much and you shouldn't have said that story and how dare you say this, right? How do you talk to yourself when you're just thinking and replaying situations? Or do you not replay situations? Do you just kind of like, well, that happened, out of sight, out of mind? Start really noticing how you feel. Start noticing in your body where you feel it. Let's say you try to go to talk to certain people and your throat closes up and you can't speak for some reason. Start to notice that. Start to notice, okay, well, I do it with this person and I do it with this person, but I don't do it with this person. So what makes person A and person B similar that I freeze up with them, but I don't freeze up with this other person? Just start noticing. Start asking yourself, what things am I doing that I like and things that I'm doing that I don't like? I don't like the outcome. I don't like the way that I feel during this. And the interesting thing is it may not even be something you're doing. It just may be the way that you're speaking to yourself. I had one time where I had really bad social anxiety, and I started doing this where I was like, okay, I want to be with people. That wasn't the problem. It wasn't that I didn't want to be with people, but a few things that first started noticing is I recognized the people I'm spending my time with, they really drain me. And so I thought, okay, that's interesting. So what is it about those people that drain me? Okay, well, a lot of them, they just like to vent their problems. Okay, so I have become the person who's okay just being word vomited on. That's really draining. That's really exhausting. And it's okay. I understand that between friends, but I don't get anything out of this situation. You came out better and happier, and I came out needing a break from life and people for a day and a half because you got this experience and it took away from me. So that's not fair. That's not going to work. That's not how I want to live my life, right? And I'm not saying it always has to be selfish, but it has to be something where it can rejuvenate me too. I get it if it was a back and forth, right? Like we get the back and forth where it's equal, but not where it just totally drains you. The next thing I started to notice is I started feeling really uncomfortable around the people who I actually really enjoyed being around. And the reason I was uncomfortable is because I thought, well, these people, they've got it together. I'm a train wreck. Who do I think I am? And so the whole time I was sitting there, well, they don't want to talk to me. They don't want to listen to me. I'm an idiot. I'm a train wreck. I'm this. So it was exhausting because I was just ripping apart my life. They didn't care. They were living their best life. So as you can see, there's so many different ways that mindset can definitely affect you negatively. Now, how do we fix it, right? It's how you dialogue with yourself. Start noticing what it is that you need to do, but how are you going to fix it? Let me tell you the different ways of fixing your mindset. The first one is start to notice it. That doesn't really fix it, but it does make you aware. The second thing that I found is hypnotherapy. This one I love. It's my favorite. It's hands down. I know a lot of people, because they want you to watch longer, give the best to the end. This one's the best. That's all I can say. Hands down, it's quickest, fastest, easiest way I have ever found to break those pathways in your brain that are stopping you from doing the things that you want. I do have a few ones here on this podcast and on my YouTube channel where you can try them. It's a tiny script where it's like 20 minutes long, so you can test it out completely for free. See if you enjoy that. But I love it so much. This is the one I tell everybody they need to do. The second one is different therapies. I love energy healing. I love EDMR. I like breath work. I like color therapy, sound therapy, all the different things, right? The third thing is meditation. This is not my favorite. It does take the longest, but I do know some people who they continually do it and they find that it actually does change their mindset and it helps them reframe their brain. I wish that I could give you something right off the bat to start changing it. But the reality is you're going to have to do some work. You are going to have to do some work. You're going to have to research. You're going to have to go and figure out what works for you, because typically you have been talking to yourself as long as you have lived. And if it wasn't you, then it was somebody else telling you these things like you're not enough, you're ridiculous, whatever the phrase is. So it's going to take a little bit of time to go back and retrain your brain to actually be positive if you're at all like really on the negative side. If you guys want to try any of those hypnotherapy mini sessions that I have, just go back. They're titled either hypnosis or meditation, and you guys can try them completely for free and see if that's something that helps you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you found value in this and you want to share it with somebody, please do, because that really helps me out and I really appreciate it. So until next time, bye.